You're live.
Well, for those of you who think I was late, you would be correct and you would be mistaken. We just waited approximately seven minutes of buffering, and I had to restart the live stream three times. So, aside from talking about more electronic failures and noise pollution in the Philippines, which Daisy Mae is now on a regular basis contributing to, but at least she waits until the afternoon to do karaoke, sweetheart. Talk about noise pollution in the Philippines. So, what I want to talk about today is, well, first of all, Daisy, we have only one person viewing, and that is because Google has removed all of my subscribers. All. There are no more subscribers to Hoodwinked by an Angel. For whatever reason, I had 20,000 subscribers with Google and YouTube, and now my average video is getting less than 200 views. Whereas any other vlogger in the Philippines with 1,500 subscribers gets 300 views in a few hours, or a day and a half, let's say, 30 hours. So now we have no subscribers. If anybody is on the chat window, please make a comment, because it says 0 people are watching, and I find that hard to believe, because I did put out a post. So somebody just put your name or an X or something on the chat window. I see zero people watching this live stream, and that would be a first. Okay, now I see 1, and you are one of those people that don't leave. Just leave a, well, of course you're not going to leave a comment. You're no doubt, what do they call those, trolls? Yeah, trolls? Is that what you are, a troll? Okay, so this live stream, at this point, normally I have 15 or 20 people watching, but Google has decided to reduce my views by about 15 to 20 times. And now, when I made a post, it didn't even go out, apparently. And we are into this live stream about 4 minutes. And there are 2 people watching, which is basically impossible. So I will just continue about noise pollution in the Philippines. If somebody on the screen that's of the 2 people that are watching, would you please put something in the chat window so I know you can even hear me? What the hell do they call those people when they not trolls, or some other word? George Frederick. Thank you, George. Okay. All right. Well, at least someone. Yeah, Google has, George Frederick. Google has decimated my view count. Normally, on any video I put out, that's a normal video, no political, nothing religious, anything like that. I don't know, 1,000 to 1,500 views by the end of the week. That's 3 years ago when I had 10,000 subscribers. And now with 20,000 subscribers on Google and YouTube, I get about 150 to 200 views, and then the video stops getting views. So let's talk about noise pollution. Hello, George. Okay, so this morning, Daisy, would you like to say hello to George?
Hello, George. You have the same name of my father.
Maybe that is your father. Pretending.
George.
Okay. So, anybody, would you like to say hello to anybody in your family? Put this on Facebook? No? You sure?
You will not watch it.
Okay. So, this morning at 6:39, I woke up to a car with those supersized speakers in the car playing disco music about 7 or 8 feet away from my bedroom window. Now, by the time I was awake, but it was really loud. I mean, like really loud. Like, how does a Filipino even afford that much money for a music system like that? I don't know. But I got dressed and put my arms to grab my sandals, and by that time he had backed away and went up the block about 200 feet and stayed there playing that music for till 7 o'clock this morning. Now, here in the Philippines, that's pretty much acceptable. Like if I would have went out, I would have just went out and asked him to lower his music. But if you went out with a bad attitude, they would not lower the music. They don't care about how much noise they make. Then at 7 o'clock, we have two neighbors with similar sound systems, and they have, I think they're like dueling banjos. They have one put the music on one kind of music and the other put the music on the other kind of music. And sitting outside, you could barely hear yourself think. Could not hear the cell phone when we were talking to it. Now, I moved to this location specifically because on average, you might see the first year I moved here, maybe you would see a car in 1 week go past the front of the house. And that's why I moved here. Now there are 100 trucks that go up and down this block, and then multitudes of cars and motorcycles. And they all play different music. Most of them are relatively quiet. But that's when I talked to one of my neighbors, he went like this. He went, "Oh, no, you cannot complain to the Filipinos about the music." I said, "Even in the morning?" He said, "No." I said, "You've never complained about the music?" "No." He has lived here for 9 years. He's lived here. And he has only talked to his neighbor about 4 or 5 times from what he said. I talk to the neighbors all the time. But he did explain to me, do not complain about the music in the Philippines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and buy a bigger pair of speakers than they have. And I'm going to play symphonic Pink Floyd. And that's what's going to happen. So on to my next topic. Daisy's going to pick out some love songs, and she's going to sing love songs with the videoke machine that we bought. Have you picked one out yet? Hello, Michael. Good morning. Yeah, Daisy, Michael Lindorf, if you have a request, Daisy would be happy to play that for you.
Michael.
Good day. God day to you too, Michael. Yeah, if you think of maybe if your wife has a favorite love song or your girlfriend, we will. George, yeah, and I almost moved to Leyte, George. It's just a little bit too far away from civilization for me back in 2012. How much would it cost you? You were thinking about paying them to close the store for the night. Yeah, my neighbor told me the last thing you want to do is complain to the Filipinos about making noise. And I would have done it in a gentleman fashion. And if they knew me, if there was somebody on the block that knew me, I'm sure they would have lowered the music. That music was just absurd. So if you have a request, Georgia, Daisy would be happy to sing that for you also. And anybody else that's watching have a request, we'll have Daisy sing, and I can take a break. So let's talk about Michael. If you want to talk to your missus or your wife or your girlfriend, your daughter, and find a love song, Daisy will play that for you right after she sings her favorite love song to me, of course. Yeah? which is,
Mhm.
what's the name of the song?
From this moment on.
From this moment on. She's getting really good with this videoke machine. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is we have had, I have devoted 50, and now I'm going to repeat that. That's 50, 50. I keep looking over there because I have a new computer screen. 50 hours to getting a computer screen, but not the computer screen, because the computer screen wasn't in stock. So they gave me a smaller one. But I have about 8 or 9 hours of going to all the stores in Tagbilaran to look for computer monitors. And I have to tell you, you have to be careful in the Philippines. They will tell you that it's a computer monitor when it's actually a TV screen. And what I discovered, none of them work, by the way, when you have them tested out at the store. But that's what we're going to get into in a minute. If it's a TV screen, it may not have what is known as HDMI plug. Okay, so Michael Lindorf requests Elvis Presley, The Wonder of You.
Okay.
No, it's on. If we have the words to it online, we can get that for you, Michael. That's no problem.
You will be the one to
Yeah, I will be the one to sing that. Yeah, that would be quite the opportunity to shut the computer off. So, so now I went to 5, maybe 6 stores because there were so many I went to, I don't even remember. So I finally settled. First of all, I wanted, let me show you. I had a Dell. This is what you're going to deal with when you buy electronics in the Philippines. Nothing worked the way it was supposed to. So here I have this Dell monitor that I paid somewhere around $1,000 for in 2005. Okay, so it's 13 years old. What was happening, if anybody knows, is the screen was going off for like a split second, and then it would stay on for half an hour, then it would go off. And those increments got closer and closer to where the screen was just going on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. And then finally it went off. So I take this screen, I take this monster into the city. Now this thing weighs 9 or 10 kilos, this screen. I've had this screen since 2005. It's a monster. This thing weighs less than the big screen we have next door. It's a Dell 23-inch monitor. So I take this screen into the city and I put it on the desk, and everybody just laughs. They think it's like an antique. Can you fix this? And I tell them, no, sir. Now, not even one person that does computer repairs, which were only 3 of the 5 stores, all of them had computer technicians, but only 3 were on duty. That's another thing. On duty in the Philippines doesn't mean that they're capable. Okay, so I take this screen, I put it on the desk, and every person says, no, thank you. Want to put that down, honey? We're going to fix that with I'm going to use the machine to do computer technology, high-tech computer technology with a 22-ton back tracker. That ought to be interesting. So I take this. That's fine, like that. Yeah, that's okay. So I take it. No one wants to fix it. So what they want to do is they want to sell you a new computer screen. So okay, so we are. Okay, so we are. So I price out these little screens, 17-inch screens. They range from about $70 up. But I wanted a bigger screen than this, so I wanted a 32-inch screen. So the only person that had a 32-inch screen was one of the Indians, not the Bombay, but the next door, the other Indian fella from in Tagbilaran. But his 32-inch didn't work. It worked for TV, but when I asked them to plug it into a computer, he didn't have a computer to plug the screen into. He owns an electronics store, but they didn't have a computer to hook the screen up to show me that it worked. But he assured me that it worked, so I said, no, thank you. Okay, so I go to another electronics store, and I want the 32-inch screen, but they don't have a 32-inch screen. They have a 39-inch screen. So I said, okay. But if I want to change it for a bigger one, can I do that? And he said, yes. So he gives me the 39-inch screen, and I take it home. And it works. It works okay. But I decided to get the bigger one. Now, this is the Bombay, the store I went to. And this guy's giving me a price that you can't get from anybody else because I made videos for his store, and I'm going to make videos of other stores that he owns. So he's basically giving it to me just pennies above cost. So what I would have paid for a 32-inch screen, I got the 49-inch screen for less. But that one had to be delivered because I said I'm not going to be able to. First of all, I'm not putting it on a jeepney, and I'm not humping that thing on a tricycle from Tagbilaran. So he says he'll deliver it. So he's going to be there yesterday at 9:30. We get up at 8. We cleaned up the house a little bit. He doesn't show up at 9:30, and then I ask him where he is. He tells me 11, and he doesn't show up at 11. And there's a reason for that. It was Saturday, and I'm going to tell you something. This guy has the phone never stops. Whatever he does, he has 3 stores. He never stops. So I could understand him not coming to see me with my delivery. Daisy Mae is going to sing in a few minutes. Good morning, Al Vargas. Yeah, Jerome Galvin, the story can conclude. We want Daisy Mae singing. Thank you. All right, so now the guy doesn't come. Finally, at 1:30, I decide to go to his store. I go to walk up the street, and they're bringing the computer screen, the 49-inch monitor, and they bring it in, and it doesn't work. But one of the HDMI plugs works, but no sound. The other one works with the sound, but no video. Then the other 2 don't work. It tells me it's my computer. This is what you're going to get in the Philippines. So he says, you take the screen and pay for it, and then you bring your computer to the city and get it fixed. I said, there's nothing wrong with my computer. It works on this screen. Where's that mirror, honey? It works on this screen, the mirror. Works on this screen fine. So this is the kind of service that you're going to get in the Philippines. Yeah. This is the screen we bought. It's pretty big, 39 inches. The problem is when I put it on the wall, I can't see the words. They're too small for me. Okay, so the men stay here for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, and we did everything possible. We finally determined that it was a problem with the screen, which I thought from the beginning. That's what you get when you buy electronics. So they bring the screen back without asking me for the money, naturally. And now I have to go to the city with my computer. So it was 50 hours invested in time to buy a computer screen. The one I originally wanted, I have to go to the city again and bring my computer this time to check it to make sure it works. Because they tried to sell me the one that didn't work. And they told me, you just take this and then you fix your computer. This is the kind of service that you get in the Philippines. So let's, Daisy, are you ready to sing that song, honey? Okay. I'm going to give you the screen. Jerome, are you happy now? Yeah. I'm sure we just made Jerome's day. I understand I took a long time to tell you the story. No. But, you're number 1, Jerome. You remember that. Just kidding. Okay, so Daisy, let me move over there. Daisy's going to sing the love song, and then we're going to find The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley from Michael Lindor. And also, we'll probably send this out to our friend Mike Stone, who was Elvis Presley's bodyguard for many years, and Engelbert Humperdinck's bodyguard for many years. So what's the name of the song, honey?
From this moment on, I will sing This is dedicated to Michael Fazio.
Yeah, baby.
From this moment, life has begun. From this moment, you are the one right beside you. Is where I belong. From this moment on, from this moment, I have been blessed. I live only for your happiness and for your love. I give my last breath from this moment on. I give my hand to you with all my heart. Can't wait to live my life with you. Can't wait to start. You and I will never be apart. My dreams came true because of you. From this moment, as long as I live, I will love you. I promise you this, there is nothing I wouldn't give from this moment on.
Salamat. Wow. That's the first time anybody ever devoted a love song to me. No, very nice. Not yet finished? Oh, sorry. More.
You're the reason I believe in love, and you're only answer to my prayers from up above. All we need is just the two of us. My dreams came true because of you. From this moment, as long as I live, I will love you. I promise you this, there is nothing I wouldn't give. From this moment, I will love you. As long as I live, from this moment on. Ooh.
Salamat. Salamat.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you like.
And one of the things that you have to understand about this videoke thing is one of the most complicated parts that Daisy has had learning how to sing is where to put the microphone depending on how you projecting your voice. If you hold it a certain way, it's more sensitive. Another way, it's less sensitive. And she's doing a really, really good job. So I hope you guys like that. Jerome, especially you. Pain in the neck, you are. My stories don't drag on forever, but I could make the next story drag on forever. Okay, you gonna look for that other song?
No?
Yeah, for Michael Lindorf, Elvis Presley.
I don't know what to say. I need to listen.
Yeah, you listen to it, Michael. She's gonna find that song, and then she's gonna listen to it once or twice, and then and then uh, and then she'll sing it. Okay. Okay, so here we have the people. We have the critics. Thank you, David Johnson. Hi, Daisy Mae. Amazing voice. She has a nice voice. Like I said, the first thing, the most complicated part about singing that karaoke is where to place the microphone. Place it forward, straight in like that. It's the most sensitive, and it took many songs, many practice songs, much noise pollution in the Philippines. But God, it was like it sounded Chinese at first. How did God let you score one of his singing angels? You know what? All I did was talk. When I met Daisy, all I did was talk honest to her, and I told her what kind of a person I was before we met. We spoke for 89 days, almost every day, except a few days Daisy was in the hospital, and then we would speak on average about an hour on Skype. And if she didn't show up, it was because the internet didn't work where she was. But she never disappeared on the computer screen. So I said, well, she's a nice girl. Let me go meet her. And I met her and her mom and her nephew, and then we liked each other. So that's how we met. So I guess honesty with and honest about anything and everything too, but not anything and everything at first. We just basically kept it to what we liked and what we wanted in life, and then that's how it worked out. Okay, so Jerome, thank you. All right, Leviticus, Lascivious verse. I can never say your name. Michael, hello, Lascivious Veritas. I can't even see it now. Invictus. So good morning. Michael Lindorf, thanks for the claps. Very nice. You're the funniest, Mr. Fazio. Thank you. I don't know about funny. So funny is what I told these guys yesterday when I am digressing back to the electronic story. Okay. One store said to me, yeah, that's it. Me on drums. So one store said to me, "Come in without seeing the screen that they had. I don't remember the name, and give." It was well, they wanted a lot more money than the Bombay store, but they wanted 15,000 peso deposit, and they would give me that screen. It was a pretty normal price. It wasn't high, it wasn't low, and it would be shipped out within 4 to 6 weeks. That's just crazy. But when they wanted to give me the 49-inch screen, that didn't work. And then they told me my computer was broke. Where would I be? Where would you be? You would be pulling out your hair if you had hair. And this is what you need to expect. Now there was another topic I wanted to talk about. It was in the title. Let's see, what was it? Daisy Mae sings Chinese electronic fit. Okay, so now, all right, we covered that. I actually built a shelf to put the screen on. So that was part of the 50 hours involved with getting the screen, but I never got the screen I wanted. I still haven't gotten the screen I wanted. So does anybody else have any questions about the Philippines and what it's like living here? Because it's different living here. For instance, 2 weeks ago, in a 1 week period, now I don't count, but somebody else did count 35 blackouts while he was awake in one 10-day period. 35 blackouts, but more internet blackouts than just the blackouts. And every time the computer shuts off, you have to open up your computer, and it won't. Sometimes it wants to recycle itself because it was a cold shutdown. That same week, we had no water. Of the 7 days, we had 2 days with water, but only from 3 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the morning, and only just a little bit, not enough to fill up 2 5-gallon buckets. So we had to get rainwater from the barrel to shower with. That's a very interesting thing here. So when you don't have electric, it means you don't have a fan. So because of that, I went out and purchased an APC battery backup. That worked so far, so that at least we would have a fan. And I also bought a battery-operated fan because it is hot here at night. Living in the Philippines is not for everybody. Now, of course, I live in what I call a shack. It's a 11'6" by 11'6". It's called a bunkhouse. While we're going to build a hotel, and we're going to get that done. But I had other issues this week. I also tweaked my back, and I don't know how that happened. I was picking up an oxygen tank and setting it in and out of a tricycle from the property to the tricycle, from the tricycle to the oxygen supply house in Build-A-Ware, and then back into the tricycle and then back out. And I did that myself, a 4-foot oxygen tank, because the tricycle driver had a bad back. So that might have contributed to it. I don't know. And then, but it has gone out in the past from just bending over the wrong way and sneezing or coughing. It goes out about every 3 to 5 years, and then that's it. So hadn't had a back injury since before I left for America 4.5 years ago. So I guess I have nothing to complain about. But it was to the point where I could barely put my shoes on, and that took 5 or 6 minutes to put on my right shoe. We also had another little mishap this week. I thought you said Shania Twain songs. I don't know, Jerome. Shania Twain.
That's the one who sang the one that I sang.
You sung that one already? Yesterday?
No, today. She has many songs.
Oh, well, what do I know? Okay, so that what you just sang is a Shania Twain?
Twain.
What's her name?
Shania Twain.
Shania Twain? Never heard of her. I heard the song. I wouldn't know who sang it, though. So, and then Michael Lindoff says, "Making Me Misty" for the 70s. You lived in the Philippines in the 1970s, Michael, is that correct? No, John, you always ask the same question. We don't even have a single column up yet. I have been doing other things. I did make the rebar bender. I don't know if you saw that video, and I got involved with another project for a little bit. Took some time away from what I was doing. It was more something I wouldn't talk about on YouTube or even in my Patreon account. So I got involved with something else that it worked out well for me and for the other people, but I spent some time doing that. And now we still have to move the container to dig the last 2 holes. And like I said, this project is a project, okay? And we're doing it ourselves. So no, I have to dig 1 more hole. And I broke off one of the teeth doing something a few weeks ago. that had to be, I had to go to the city, get another piece of steel for make a tooth. So no, we didn't finish any part of the hotel. But the like I said, the water tank is dug and the septic tank is dug, and I put another cistern in for the neighbor that I can share water with. So I dug out 17 feet wide by 10 feet deep by 22 feet long. That's how big the hole is for the cistern, for the neighbor, for my cistern, and the septic tank. That was quite a bit of digging for a bucket. I don't have a rock breaker. Did go look at a rock breaker, a couple of rock breakers, but by the time I would have rebuilt, made bushings for my pins to fit into that rock breaker and buy new hoses, they wanted more money than it would cost to buy a brand new rock breaker. And this thing was God knows how old it was. And they don't give anything away here in the Philippines. I would have said the rock breaker that I looked at, John, to answer your question. Okay, yeah, you saw that. Okay. The rock breaker knew maybe it was 500,000 pesos. This thing was beat to death, and they wanted 300,000 pesos and just the two hoses to replace them because they were cracked beyond belief. And the fittings, just the two hoses and the fittings, were almost another $600, 35,000 pesos. So no, but we're going to dig another hole this week. And if you remember, John, my foot injury prevents me from putting on a boot. And I'll show it to you again. All right, just to let you know. It is now 92 days since I went to... It's 92 days since I went to the hospital and started putting medicine on my wound. And I still have, I can't show you the wound, but I still have a section of meat with no skin on it about this big. If you remember correctly, I wasn't going to work until this thing healed. Now, we've been doing some work, like we putting the tooth on and going to the city and getting repairs. But this injury does not allow me to put on even a sneaker. And I wear the Robo Boot. For those of you who, you know where the Robo Boot is, honey? I built a metal bracket. You look underneath there? Anyway, I built, honey? I built a metal bracket.
Right side.
Yeah? Okay. I built this metal bracket to put over my foot and inside my sandal. I cannot do physical work climbing in and out of holes, even climbing in and out of the machine. The way my foot bends, it rips, it masticates the forming skin, like the skin is forming on the wound. And if I bend my foot the wrong way, it rips it apart. So that, if you remember, I told you I wasn't going to be doing much work, and I have not been doing anything where I have to climb up and down anything. So here is still the bandaging of the wound that I dress daily. So the hotel got put on, the construction part got put on hold big time. It's 92 days since I went to the doctor, and the wound was that big. That's how much skin they cut off, rotten, decaying skin. And now it's it's the size of an old silver dollar, a little smaller. Still raw meat, though. If you were to drop a quarter on top of this wound, you would see stars. If you were to drop a quarter 2 inches to the right or left, front or back, where the skin has formed, no problem. But this thing hurts. So no, I'm not gonna risk slipping with even with the robo boot. I'm not going to risk slipping out of the machine and twisting, masticating the skin. Hope that answers your question, John. I want to go back to work, and I've been doing everything that can be done. We greased the machine. I put the bushings that you see that I made, the washers that I said I cut in half. I put all those spaces in and welded them in place. I put new grease fittings, a new grease fitting. I had to make something, weld something into the machine where the old grease fitting was not there anymore. I don't know what someone did. They gouged out the threads. I had to weld in a new, like a pipe nipple, with male threads and female, and tap it out. I did that. We're doing more welding on the bucket so the teeth work, but working, digging, and climbing in and out of the machine, and maybe in and out of the hole to do whatever I have to do. The next thing I have to do besides this easy hole I have is move the container. And that's going to take some. There's some tree limbs along the side of the road where they're trimming trees to widen the road. It'll take about it'll take a whole truckload of tree limbs that I'll use for other things, but to move the container one way, slide it on the tree limbs or planks. I'll make planks out of the trees if the limbs are big enough, but that's going to take a week to move it one way and then a couple of weeks to do the digging. And I really don't want to do all that heavy work, because I'll be taking the bucket off the machine and putting on a heavy-duty chain I have, attach it. I made when I built the linkage for the bucket, I built in holes in the linkage to put the chain through. In other words, the linkage is like this, and then I have a hole on either side of the webbing. I'm going to put that chain on it and drag the container. Should just drag the container along the floor, but I don't want to rip all the paint off of whatever webbing is underneath the container. So, no, the hotel is on a hold, but everything that can be done is being done. Yeah, the barge days are over. It's not a question of, it's not my age. It's not that I can't do the work. I just don't have to do the work anymore. With the barge, you just had to do the work. Maybe that's what you mean. But there was other stuff to do. When I tell you that Daisy and I get up at 7 o'clock, we're out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm out of bed earlier than that. We never stop. I go to the city. Oh, I forgot to tell you, John, and anybody else. I had 10 dentist appointments. Well, I'll have 10 when I go Monday. I still have 3 more after that. So I'm going to have 13 total. I made a rant about dentists already. I went to a dentist for 2 years, and she checked my teeth and cleaned my teeth for 2 years, and each time I only went 4 times. But each time she said I do not have any cavities, and she lied. Okay? She lied. She lied because she's waiting for the cavities to become to the point where it has to have root canal, I guess, or she just wants to do teeth cleaning and doesn't want to fill cavities. Either way, she had to see the 2 biggest cavities I had. So then I just had 2 root canals done and fix 2 other cavities. This only 3 months after I went to have my teeth cleaned by this woman. I went into her office and ripped her secretary a new asshole. The woman would not come out of the dental office that she was doing teeth cleaning in, although she looked through the smoked glass. She knew what she did. She knew she did that. She knew she told me I didn't have any cavities. I made my voice was, I wasn't screaming, but I told the secretary I'm going to stand in front of the office and tell people not to go in there and why, which I did. And she didn't call the police. And I said, if you'd like to call the police right now, you can call the police. Here is the bill. And I showed her a bill for 36,000 pesos for 2 root canals, 2 crowns, and 2 cavities. 36,000 pesos, which is not that much. It's only $600 and some change. But it's because she did not tell me I had a cavity. And I went to my original dentist, who's a great dentist, but he was always busy when I walked in to make an appointment, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm in the city. I want to get my teeth cleaned that day. So I just went to the teeth cleaning lady. A price was less money anyway. So I saved 400 pesos for teeth cleaning, and I spent $600 to have 2 cavities. So that was, I have to be at the dentist at 11 o'clock. I don't work that day. I don't get out of the office. He does 2.5 hours, 2 hours for the root canal each time. Now we grinded out the tooth, which I could show you, but it's not so pretty. I have a video of it on my Patreon account. I'm going to put a video of I have the video made. I didn't load it to my Patreon account. So I went to a dentist. Basically, Jerome is probably going to come back. When is this story going to end? I went to a dentist for 2 years that didn't tell me I had any cavities, probably waiting until they became root canals, and then she could make a bunch of money. I don't know. But when I went into her office and ripped the secretary a new ass and asked her to come outside into the waiting room, she would not. Told the secretary, you can call the police now because I'm going to stand outside in front of the door and tell people not to go in your office. And everybody in the office, there were 7 or 8 people in the office. I said, are you listening to me? Are you people, and 2 Americans, are you listening to what this woman did? Maybe they were just going in to get their teeth cleaned too. She sucked at what she did. Totally sucked. And to me, I think she was committing intentional fraud so that she could escalate the size of the cavity to become a major root canal instead of fixing a small cavity. And that's what you can depend on. Now, that's not the only dentist that I had a problem with. I went to a dentist in Cebu at the top of the escalators. Something Dental Smiles or Smiles Dentist or something like that. They fixed the cavity. The next week, I went to Bohol, and within 2 days, the cavity fell out. Then I went to the Romero Hospital dentist. Another woman charged me 1,500 pesos. She said she grinded it out so the filling wouldn't fall out. It was in the front of this tooth here. She like, instead of going in straight, the first guy went in on an angle like that. Instead of going in straight, she said she opened it up to have a back slant inside so that it couldn't fall out like a groove. Well, that one lasted a week, and when I went back there, I said, you have to replace this. She said, no problem. And I sat down. I said, are you going to charge me? She says, of course. I said, you just put this in last week. So she said, no. They had to have the police come. Well, the security. I was surprised they didn't get the police for the stink I made. I sat there and told everybody what she did and showed them the cavity. So the security finally came and said, will you leave? I said, of course I will leave. Would you please get the police to escort me out? And I will be happy to leave when the police get here. Well, they never came, the police. So I waited, and I still talked to the people, not yelling in that case because it was a hospital. But this is the kind of dental treatment you get here in the Philippines. So finally I went to another guy who told me I had like 6 cavities when I did not. And plus he wanted to fix that one. He looked in my mouth. He said, you have 6 cavities. This is 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. So I didn't go to him. I just paid him for an office visit. I didn't let him do anything. And then finally I found the dentist that did the root canal who does great work. Less than $200 for a root canal and a crown. And he put one in 4 years ago, and the crown is still stand up. It never moved. It never got loose. No problem. So you need to be careful. This is what I keep telling people. You need to be careful when you come to the Philippines about services and products that you buy. The products come from China. They all suck. But the services you get here, I went to 5 dentists and I found one good one. Ah, Scott. John, thank you. Thank you, right. Scott Del Fuego, good morning. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, getting younger. Maybe it's the foot medicine. Yeah, maybe I dyed my hair. Daisy dyed my hair. She thinks that's gonna come here, honey. It's gonna make me younger. Come on. Yeah. Now I have black hair. Now will it make me thin? Niwang? No. Will it make me skinny? No. Good morning. I'm glad to hear that you're back, Scott. I've been trying to haven't had any time. I was just explaining to John Parrish that Monday, I think, will be my 10th dentist visit, and it just doesn't end. It doesn't end. It was the most amazing few months between this injury, and I got to tell you, I've been hurt before. Bad. I've been hurt. My knee broke backwards on the barge. I literally snapped my knee backwards. I broke a broomstick and I had another stick, and I taped my leg straight and worked for 6 hours in 10-degree weather with a knee that was broken backwards. You might not believe it, but I put in 2 pilings and I had to move the barge back to where I cooped the barge maybe a quarter of a kilometer across the canal and down the way. And then I went home and took like 4 pain pills, and then I went to the hospital the next day. Okay. And they told me I needed surgery, but if I didn't walk on it for a couple of months, it probably would be able to be walked on. And then I waited. I never got the surgery, but I actually bent my knee backwards and ripped all the tendons apart, and actually walked on that for 6 more hours, putting in pilings on the barge. So anyway, you might not believe it, and it doesn't matter what you believe. I know I did it. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting younger. Scott, so how is Chicago, Scott? When they had those, I don't know, was it 12 murders in 24 hours? Did you, did you, were you afraid to leave the house when that happened? I mean, come on, what was it like living in Chicago and reading in the paper that there were 12 murders in the city that you lived in within 24 hours? I'd be interested in hearing what it was like reading about that in the papers, knowing that it all happened miles from your house. Okay. I have not. We only got what day did we get the computer screen? Friday, right? We didn't have a computer screen for 6 days. Any notes I left on YouTube were done with my little cell phone. Okay. I'm gonna send some things to your house. I've been lapsed. Daisy, put it on my list to grab the GoPro and get. I still have to send the GoPro back to America. I've been lapsed with that. I apologize. There was no reason I didn't do that in the last 30 days. That upsets me because that was something I had on the list and I just keep procrastinating. I'll send that GoPro out. When we're done here, I'll get online. Just put down send GoPro to America. I'll take care of that within the next 48 hours. I have to. because they're going to give me a GoPro camera for $60 to replace my Hero 5, and I still have 2 good batteries in the case for that. I apologize, Scott. But I need the address so I can send some industrial grinding blades, because right now I'm working with those 4-inch grinder, which works fine, but I have a heavy-duty 15-amp Milwaukee industrial grade grinder. It weighs about 18 pounds, but I have no blades for it. So I want to send those to you also. Not so much in weight, but they won't ship them here to the Philippines, the ones that I wish to get. Yes, I understand you have to do a little bit more than read about it, but I understand that, but I didn't want to mention that. Okay, so John Parrish. John Parrish, like, so natural. Okay, John, thank you for stopping by. And thanks for the question, and thanks for understanding, John. I appreciate that. But then again, you've been a long-time subscriber, and I certainly do appreciate your understanding. I have no reason. I just had to admit that I've been lapsed in sending my damn GoPro. A simple little thing like a GoPro camera back to America that I've had on my list 4 or 5 times. A simple little thing like that I did not do. And I don't lie about it. I didn't do it. I was supposed to do it 2 months ago. All right, John, have a nice day. Now, Michael Lindorf, he lived 30 years in Chicago, Midway Airport area, far fewer murders. I couldn't even imagine. Well, I was. Why was I in Chicago? When I was bringing the barge back from Traverse City, Michigan, at some point, why did I go to Chicago? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Chicago's on the Great Lakes. Back in the 80s, I was in Chicago. I don't remember why I was in Chicago. But back in the 80s was different. I don't know anything about Chicago. I did live in the highest crime neighborhood in Brooklyn for 2.5 years. But then again, my block was protected. The biggest and the baddest guys in the Italian mafia lived within 500 feet of my house. And there were 2 blocks. I can't tell you the name of the street I lived on, but it was near the Pinks, Pinks, the Pinks Project on Linden Boulevard. There was crime everywhere around my 2 blocks, but no crime on my block or the block adjacent to my block. The Italians back in the 70s, they said, you commit a crime, we'll just go around and do things randomly. And they didn't commit crimes on my block, but I lived in a badass neighborhood. I did carry a weapon. And the way I met my best friend from that neighborhood, there were a couple of guys parked in front of my house. This is true story. Now, I know I can't tell you the whole story. All right, so there's a couple of guys parked in front of my house. I can't see it. I'm on the 2nd floor. And the guy across the street, I see him walk out of the house with his hand in his pocket. It was middle of winter. It was cold. And he knocks on my door because I could hear it from the downstairs to the upstairs. It was a straight shot. And he rings my bell. I come downstairs and I say, what's up? He goes, here, open the door. And he hands me a piece of iron. And he goes, come on, there's guys in front of the house. I don't know what they're doing. And, well, they left. But That was the 70s. And it was a tough neighborhood. It was a good neighborhood to live in. It was real. And one of the guys I met, Johnny Cucciara, who was became a good friend of mine. Johnny Cucciara was a multi-millionaire because he invented a chemical process that allowed people to take. He was a furrier. I forgot which kind of fur. It could have been minks or foxes. I forgot. But he invented some kind of chemical process where the skin became soft and the hair stayed on the skin. Didn't hurt the hair. That was one guy. I met a lot of guys there. A lot of guys I can't tell you the name of the guys, but all of them, if I mentioned their names, anybody my age would probably remember most of their names. It was an interesting place to live. Okay, so Scott is saying neighborhoods by Midway changed a lot in the last 35 years. DR, Chicago, Lake Michigan. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I stopped there on the barge with the barge or it's Chicago, Detroit. Yeah, I did. When I was going down the Detroit Straits, I stopped in Chicago, but only at the docks, and I didn't have any problems. I didn't need fuel, but I needed hydraulic fluid. I think I bought a 25-gallon drum of hydraulic fluid and a 25-gallon drum of 90-weight oil. That's what I needed, but I bought hydraulic fluid too. Oil, the 90-weight oil was leaking out of my stern drive. Don't tell the Coast Guard. All right. So, Daisy, do you have that other song for
Okay, we'll try.
Michael Lindorf?
I'm not familiar with this song.
Daisy's ready with that song. So Daisy's going to sing again, and she's going to sing.
I don't know.
Well, you try it, honey. Don't worry about it. Let's see. What was the name of that song?
The Wonder of You.
The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley. Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Daisy hears a song one time and remembers it. But she's never heard this song before. Okay.
The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. When no one else can understand me, when everything I do is wrong, you give me love and consolation. You give me hope to carry on, and there's no reason to lend a hand in everything I do. That's the wonder of you. I don't know the song.
You're doing great.
And when you smile, the world is brighter. You touch my hand and I am a king. Your love to me is worth a fortune. Your love for me is everything. I guess I'll never know the reason why you love me as you do. That's the wonder of you.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. It's hard to sing that song. You don't know it. So we have a music break here on the screen. It says music break. And I guess Elvis was dancing at the time.
He's a dancer.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'll never know the reason why you love me as you do. That's the wonder of you. The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley.
Very nice. You see, he sang differently than a love song, but he was a man. So I could tell you a story about Elvis Presley if you want. Okay. Elvis Presley. Okay. One of our friends that we visit, we visit them. We haven't visited them in a while because they were in the process of selling the home that was nearby. But anyway, he's Mike Stone. Maybe some of you have heard of Mike Stone. Him and I became friends one way or another. He asked me to do him a favor one day, and I did. And he asked me how much, and that I wanted to get paid. And I said, I'm not going to charge you money for this. We had fun together. I didn't even. He goes, do you know who I am? And I have no idea who you are. I just was a guy I talked to on the phone about something. He contacted me through my Facebook page, or I contacted him through the Facebook page. There were some messages. We decided to say hello. So he asked me for a hand doing some kind of work on his property. I said, I'll give you a hand. And I worked with him for 2 days. Daisy and I both worked with him, right? Yeah. Him and his girlfriend, or wife. Maybe she's his wife now. I don't know. So anyway, so I don't even know who the guy is. And he goes, do you know who I am? I said, no, I don't, never heard you. No, I don't know who you are. She goes, didn't you ever hear of the American Ninja? And I'm going, yeah, of course I heard of the American Ninja. That was back in the 70s. He goes, that's me. So I'm going, well, I still don't know who that is. I've heard the word American Ninja, but I don't know who you are. He goes, I'm the American Ninja. And I'm going, it means nothing to me. Nothing. It means nothing at all to me. I never followed karate. He goes, well, I was Elvis Presley's bodyguard. That means nothing to me either because I'm not an Elvis Presley fan. And he's going, so I left it at that. He never pushed the issue. He was just in passing conversation. He was not pushing himself on me. So Daisy and I, on the second day, we were done with doing what we did. And in return, he offered us an unlimited amount of firewood. Okay, so we had some big beach fires on the beach when I first got to the Philippines 4 years ago. So that came in handy. And I've used his offer several times to go get truckloads of firewood to have bonfires on the beach. So I go home. I said, let me look up this guy's name. So I look it up. This is after day 2. I look it up, and it turns out that Mike Stone had 92, I think, heavyweight karate fights. Now he had 91, excuse me. I think it was 91. 91 fights, 89 definite wins, mostly by knockout, and mostly within the first minute. And then there was one draw and one decision that was contested. So he basically had 91 fights and didn't lose any. Well, the one that's contested was contested. Okay, so I said, now this was, and he's invited us back to have dinner at his house, which is magnificent, by the way. He invites us, Daisy and I, come in. Oh, okay. So he invites Daisy and I back to his house for dinner. So then I bring my camera, and I said to him, I said, look, I helped you out. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to fight me. And he goes, are you serious? And I'm going, yeah. He backed up because probably a lot of people, once they knew who he was, they challenged him. I had no intention of challenging him. Like, I wasn't going to smack him or anything like that to get him going. So, and now we got to remember that Mike Stone is 75 now, 76, 78. How old is Mike?
70 plus. I don't know. I forgot.
70, 74 or 78, maybe. Somewhere in that area. So I said, well, just fight. He goes, Mike, he goes, I won't do that. I like you. I'm going, don't worry about it. I want to make a video. And I think it would be really cool that if I say me and you, we head off and we fight. And if you win, I said, if you win, he goes, which I will. I'm going, that might be true. I might get lucky. He goes, nobody's that lucky. I'm going, you never know. But either way, if we fight and you knock me out, I'll have it on video that Mike Stone kicked my ass. And then if I win, I'll have it on video that I kicked Mike Stone's ass. Either way, for me, it's a win on YouTube. And he's going, don't even think about it. So I says, all right, so you're afraid to fight me. And he started laughing. He goes, no, I'm not afraid to fight you. And he couldn't understand my mental perspective on this whole thing. My mental perspective was, if fight the guy, and he knocks me out, he beats me up, whatever, I get a YouTube video out of it. I fight the guy, I win, I beat Mike Stone, even though he's much older. I fight the guy, and that's it. I fight the guy. It's a fight. No big deal. But he wouldn't do it. So I said, all right, then you know what? Just to have Daisy hold the camera, and you just kicked me in the ass. And he dropped to the floor almost laughing. He's going, why? So I could say that Mike Stone kicked my ass. He's going, I'm not going to do that either. So anyway, Mike Stone was Elvis Presley's bodyguard. And now a lot of people don't like Mike because of something that happened between him and Elvis. But he had no stories about Elvis Presley to say. He never said good or bad stories about Elvis Presley. But he was Elvis Presley's bodyguard for many years. And he was also Elvis Presley's martial arts instructor, as he was Engelbert Humperdinck, who he just went to visit about 6 months ago in Manila. And so he had some really interesting stories about the Yakuza, too, the Japanese Yakuza. He can go to Japan, and a car picks him up, and everything is free. Whatever he wants, wherever he goes, all hotels, all foods, all expenses, all travel, and the plane fare is all free. He did some favor for some guy he didn't know when he was like 18 years old, and the guy, when he was 18, the man was a little bit older, and didn't want anything for it. And to this day, 60-something years later, he can't pay for anything when he goes to Japan. Whether he visits that guy or not, if he tells the guy he's coming, everything is free. So that's a pretty good story. It's a Daisy. Come on over here. What I just explained about Mike Stone, yeah.
Yeah, you did. What?
Okay, so it's the truth now. I don't make this up. Now I could have admonished the story. I could have told the actual truth about some parts of the story, which I left out, but I didn't. Okay, I did ask Mike Stone. How many times did I ask him to fight me, Daisy?
Many times.
He won't fight me. Mike Stone is not afraid of Mike Fazio, but he wouldn't fight me. And I was dead serious about this. I was so serious when I looked at him, going, you know, just fight me, Dave. If I win, so you're not going to win. I'm going, well, if I lose, he goes, you're going to lose. I'm going, I don't care. He wouldn't fight me. So I wouldn't say that Mike Stone is afraid of Mike Fazio, but Mike Stone would not fight Mike Fazio because he liked me. Okay, so let me put my glasses on and see what we have here. Okay. Let me go back over. Oh. All right, so we have quite a few. Scott the Fuego. No. Okay, Scott. Okay, John. Okay, thank you, John. You left. Midway Airport. Scott talked about Midway Airport, Chicago Lake, DR, Michael Lindorf. It will It will sound wonderful. Yes, actually, it's all in the microphone. And Michael, thank you for the pledge. We appreciate. I really don't. We're not here for that. We're here because yesterday was such a disaster. I couldn't work today. I needed a day off, and I needed this screen that we have over here needs to be placed in front of me until they either give me the 49-inch screen, because I can't see the screen with these glasses from 10 feet away, and I can't, without the glasses, I can't see the words. So I have to walk over to the screen to see the words. So today's project is to take the shelf that's behind this computer and lower it 5 inches, because it was made for the Dell screen, and now we have a screen that's 25 inches high. So, but thank you for the pledge, but we don't expect that at all, and I don't really care. We do this because we enjoy it. But we'll, you know what? We are definitely going out. We have not gone out for dinner in 2 weeks, and we don't. Daisy is such a wonderful cook. We make do with the very simple diets that we have. We eat everything. We went on a hamburger freak. Huh? Yeah. How many nights did we have hamburgers, honey? Maybe three times a week for 3 weeks. Hamburgers, sometimes 4 times a week. But thank you, Michael. All right, so you're welcome, Scott. Okay. All right, so now we have Johnny Adriel, dear Rabbi. Johnny Adriel, a rabbi. The only thing I know how to say in Hebrew is shalom, Johnny. I, I don't know anything about Hebrew. I just am Rabbi Jew Barker. That's all I know. Shalom. What other? I know Yiddish. I know Yiddish, the word. I don't know how to speak Yiddish, and I know schmuck and shkamil, and that's about all the Jewish words I know. You're such a yenta. Okay, I'm a yenta, by the way. I guess by Jewish standards, Michael Lindorf, he's 75. Yeah, I was thinking he was 74. Yeah. Yeah, I asked him his age when I first met him. So that was 4.5 years ago. So let's say he was he was 69. I guess, yeah, I guess he's 74. And it's not something that we talk about. The man is incredible in shape, though, I'll tell you that. Yeah?
Yeah.
He does some strange shit. He does some really strange shit. Hitting the pads like 100 times, very quickly, very hard, and doesn't even break a hard breath. Okay, and he also trains people privately. Okay, he also trains people professionally, but he goes to where they are. Most people want him to train them because he was one of the best in the world. He did tell me a few stories about when he worked with he knew Bruce Lee, but he was not Bruce Lee's student. Where everybody thinks that he knew Chuck Connors. No, not Chuck Connors. What's the name of that guy? The kickboxing guy on TV. He knew that guy. They were friends. There were 3 of them. See, I don't follow martial arts, but the 3 names were famous names. Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris. He's friends with Chuck Norris. And he's friends with another guy. And he had met Bruce Lee. And he trained a little bit with Bruce Lee, like they sparred, but they never fought. And he never fought Chuck Norris either. They were more of friends than fighters. So all those stories that you may have heard about, that Bruce Lee beat up this guy and Bruce Lee beat up that guy, Mike said Bruce Lee was not like that. So unless you saw it in a video, probably didn't happen. And I believe Mike. He's a no nonsense type of guy, which is why we're friends. Okay, so well, okay, Mike. It was for the song. Yeah, but Daisy's not. Thank you, Michael. I'm pretty sure I knew that, but it's not necessary, Michael. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so Oy vey.
Ismail.
Oy vey Ishmael. Oy vey Ishmael. Oy vey Ishmael. I could speak with a Jewish accent. I used to know a lot of Hebrew words because the man who taught me most of my carpentry and concrete skills, his name was Irving Klein. He was a rabbi at the local synagogue, but I don't remember that. I moved away from New York in 1990. God, it's been 28 years. It's a long time to remember Hebrew. In Florida, nobody spoke Hebrew. Okay. Norris. Wait, I have to put my glasses on. Daisy, you want to sing another song?
I don't know what song.
What song is your favorite song? What about the one where we do a duo? Yeah, John Legend.
All of me?
John Legend.
All of me?
All of me. How about you guys want to hear me and Daisy could do a duo? All of me? Okay. She knows the words, but she's going to get the music in. You're going to put the thing? Yeah. We'll sing a duo for you. Now, this is where the money comes. This is the money shot now. When I sing, when I go up on stage, because I taught Daisy how to sing. I've been giving her voice lessons. When I sing, people throw money at me to leave the stage. Okay? This is the money shot. You think I'm kidding. So anyway, I'm only kidding. Okay, so now Scott Del Fuego. Yeah, Michael is a juicer. He's really into fasting. He got me on a juicing diet where I did lose 4 inches off my waist and maintained that loss. I was a lot bigger than I am now, but I never continued with the juicing diet. And I just went back to eating regular foods. Now, part of the reason I am not much thinner than I was, I cut down. Mike got me thinking about what I was eating, and I cut a lot of stuff out. But when I injured my foot, I was basically in bed for 25 or 30 days. I could not walk. What little walking I could do was basically to go to the hospital to have it checked. And then after 30 days, the doctor said, this is okay. I didn't go every day. The first 5 days, I went to the hospital every day to have it dressed because he wanted to make sure there wasn't any gangrene, and we did x-rays with the bone. But anyway, Mike got me thinking about my diet. I did lose 4 inches off my waist is probably 10 kilos, 8 to 10 kilos. And, but then I maintained that weight because of my foot injury. I still can't swim. If I was back to swimming, I'd be back into relatively good shape. So Chuck Norris, right? Chuck Connors is the rifleman. Chuck Connors is the rifleman. Chuck Norris, right? Chuck Norris, another fella, and Michael were good friends. And you're right. Thank you, Michael. Bill Wallace. Yep, that was another one. Yeah, he's not much into storytelling about the old days. If you ask him a direct question, he'll give you a direct answer. But if you ask him, Mike Stone's philosophy is the past does not help the future as much as planning about the future does for the future. In other words, if you ask him, if you like, there's a beautiful silhouette of Bruce Lee when you walk into his house to the left. If you ask him a direct question about Bruce Lee, how fast was he? He'll say lightning fast. Okay, but he won't admonish on that. If you ask him another direct question, he'll answer the question, and then he'll say, "Let's talk about the future," but very gently and gentlemanly like. Let's just talk about the future. You should be more poised on talking about the future. In fact, he wrote this book. I forgot about this. Ever notice Michael M. Stone? And in the book, let's just open up to a random page, okay? Random page. This is all written by Mike Stone. He became very much into the philosophy of love and light. Okay, to free the self, okay, so how do we get this?
You read it.
Yeah, like that. I could just read it. But here are the words. To free the soul, enlighten
Spirit.
the spirit,
Oh, that's what I always know.
develop
Develop the mind.
develop the mind, and train the body. Train the body.
Yeah.
Time. See, I can't see with my glasses. I have enough trouble seeing. Okay. Train the body, develop the mind, enlighten the spirit to free the soul. I'm not lazy. I have more important to do with my time. More important things to do with my time. Train the body, develop the mind, enlighten the soul to free the soul. That's just one of the many things. Okay. And then another one, John 156. No matter if you give or decide to keep, giving isn't generous and keeping isn't cheap. In other words, if you feel like giving, you give. If you don't feel like giving, don't worry about it. Okay? No matter how gloomy, no matter how sad, be grateful you're alive. Life isn't that bad. Okay. So this book was given to us by Mike Stone. We went to he has these seminars once a week, twice a month now. And we used to go to them. And they were really interesting. But basically, he was introducing people into uh, the mindset of meditation. And I spent 3 years studying, well, almost 4 years studying Hatha yoga and Buddhist meditation. But I studied all religions and philosophies, and then I spent 3 years training with Master Richard H. Barons, who's on YouTube, and doing training, and mostly it was a Buddhist meditation and things like that. But I had reached the point of what the ultimate goal is, enlightenment. And once you reach that point of enlightenment and you exist in it for a certain period of time, you kind of lose the urge or the need to go back to it. It's a nice place to be, but you can't live in a state of enlightenment and in this world unless you live in a very special place where you don't have to deal with other people, you don't have to deal with bills and dealing with people that are liars and swindlers and stuff like that. Really hard to live in this world. And Mike's environment allows him to live in a semi-enlightened state of consciousness, something that I just don't have. I don't have the mindset for it anymore to try to reach the state of enlightenment, because once you reach it, you understand that it's not so necessary as you thought it was. It's called climbing the mountain, and having climbed the mountain, there's no need to climb another mountain. But anyway, so that's Mike's philosophy is different. I'm sure if I called him up right now and said, Mike, I have a problem, I am absolutely certain he'd be here very quickly. Okay, wouldn't have, if he got the phone call and he answered the phone call, I am absolutely certain, and vice versa. So Anyway, so let's get on with this. 75 Wikipedia. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Wikipedia. When I met him, he was in his 60s, so that was in 2000. The first time, 2014. All right. At 75, I thought he was 76, but I don't know how old. I guess I could call him up and ask him, but that would be not something he would appreciate. Okay. Not that he's afraid to tell me his age, but it would be like probably how he has a Facebook page if anybody wants to go to it and learn about fasting and juicing. Does a great job with that. Okay, he fasts. Okay, Scott, he fasts a lot, drinks juice. Yeah, he's got about like 3% body fat. Very, very in shape man. Okay, so we're going to sing Daisy. Let me put this aircon on. And Daisy and I are going to sing All of Me by John Lennon. And that's about as much as I know about that song, except for the part where I sing. John Legend. John Legend. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, you sit down. You know what, Daisy? Take that book. Here's the book. Read a couple. Just open up random pages.
No?
Daisy's going to just read a couple. She's just going to open up randomly to any page. Just open it up and read what's on the page. From Mike Stone. Understand everything in this little book. It may sound familiar because it may sound like something somebody else said, but there's just so many ways to speak wisdom. So all these words are Mike Stone's personal words or interpretation of his thoughts and philosophy. Just here, Daisy, watch this. See this? Right. This is random, like this. Boom, that's a random page. Okay, what's on the page? You read it.
No matter the conflict, no matter the strife, accept responsibility. It's your life.
Okay, so no matter the conflict, no matter the strife, accept responsibility. It's your life. He's a very unforgiving person. If you feel sad and you feel like a snowflake, he doesn't get along well with snowflakes at all. If you have a bunch of self-inflicted problems, he doesn't give you any slack. He's not going to hold your arm and cradle you like a baby. That's what I like about Mike. He's a very generous and a very understanding type of person. But if you go to his house and you start complaining about things, he's going to tell you, I don't want to hear complaints. I want to hear solutions. And if you complain about something else, he's going to say, I would like you to stand up and leave my house. Okay, I'm tired of hearing about your complaints. Okay, now even if they're legitimate complaints, it doesn't matter. You go to the store, somebody takes your money, doesn't give you a service. He doesn't want to hear it. Tomorrow is the future. The past is the past. Me personally, I could dwell on something until I feel satisfied. Take that for whatever it's worth. Okay, so here's another saying. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to randomly open up. Right there, that page is, what page is that? 30. I'll read it. I'll be the one to read it. This is probably a good one if I'm going to read it. Ever notice when time drags, so do you? Yes. Ever notice when you're killing time, how dead tired you feel? Of course. they all make sense from a philosophical point of view. Okay, here, we'll do one more, and then Daisy and I are going to sing. Okay, page 130. Before it was 30 and 31. Now it's 130. 131 and 30. 100 pages later. Let's see what it says. Time. Something which scientists believe doesn't exist. Now, the only non-existing time that exists. That's true. But you'd have to have reached a point of enlightenment to understand the now moment, which is something that you achieve. Could happen randomly, could happen through meditation, it could happen through a near-death experience, could happen 10 seconds after you get shot or stabbed. But enlightenment is a real state of consciousness. And only when you reach the state of enlightenment do you understand what the now moment is. And once you realize what the now moment is, and you stay in that state of consciousness for a long enough period of time, it's not important to be there. What's important is to just do what you do. Whatever it is that you do, that's your life. And that's Mike's philosophy. Mine and his. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what anybody else. John Lennon.
John Legend.
Oh, John Legend. I can't even see with my glasses.
Yeah, but Scott will favorite John Lennon.
Ah. Okay, now prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare. Get your earplugs ready, baby.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Get my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm in your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what it means, but I'll be alright.
My head's underwater, but I'm feeling fine.
You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me
Loves all of you. Love your curves and imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. Baby, thank you. That's your song.
you're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Whoa. How many times do I have to tell you? Even when you're crying, you're beautiful too. The world is beating you down, dying around your every move. You're my downfall, you're my muse, my worst distraction, my rhythm and blues. I can't stop singing, it's ringing in my head for you.
My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and imperfections.
That's all.
That's all. Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. Oh my, da, 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 da. I'm a good singer. I'm a good singer. That's right. That's it. That's it. Oh, I hate when that song ends. That's my favorite song. That's my best. I do my best work singing John Legend. John Legend?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a good singer. You know, I always wanted to be a singer, but to be honest, I'm not so good at that. Not so good at all. So, um, you know, does anybody have any questions about the island of Bohol and how? Let me tell you something about the churches here in the Philippines, in case people are wondering about the churches here. Every church on the island of Bohol, and when I say every church, if you went to 100 random churches, wherever they are, I would bet that 85 to 90 churches within 25 kilometers of the city of Tagbilaran are doubling themselves in size under construction. The reason the other 15% are not already working in construction is because they're playing a little game. Who can build the biggest church? So whilst all these churches are under construction, they're leaving 15 or 20 out of each 100 churches open so the people will go and donate to their church. That's what I think. Otherwise, they'd all be under construction. Every single church from between Alona Beach and Tagbilaran City is under construction. Not under construction. Basically, if they didn't own the property next door to the church, they bought the property and knocked the house or building down that was there. And they're doubling and tripling every single church in the Philippines, which is something I don't understand because the church just keeps expanding, exponentially expanding. And then you go past any church on a Sunday morning, and the poorest people of the community are out in front of the church. The biggest church is in Tagbilaran, but there are other churches locally. And the poorest people in the community put on their best clothes. Sometimes they can have the opportunity to take a bath and sometimes not. And you can see their hair is all disheveled and oily. The poorest people in the community sit in front of the church and beg for money. And the church gives them nothing at all, ever, zero, squat, nada, not a damn thing. And yet, every church is doubling in size, and they all require mandatory size donations. Some guy tried to get me to become a Jehovah's Witness, and I told him about the 13 people that live next door to me in Florida that got arrested, Jehovah's Witnesses. The meetings were twice a week, Thursdays and Sundays. They were teaching people how to scam, how to juggle the books at the places they work. The FBI came in and arrested the entire house, everybody, the grandmother, the mother, the father. There were three boys, and the wives of two. One boy had a wife, and the other boy had a girlfriend. Okay, and then there were other people, other relatives that they said they were FBI. They came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was fucked out of my brain. I was drunk. I got drunk out at a party, and I was laying down. I'm looking at the ceiling, and the lights were everywhere. I'm going, what the hell's going on outside? Anyway, I thought they would come and see me about something I did back in New York, like 10 years before. I'm going, Jesus Christ, I don't even drink, and here I am hammered, and they're coming to get me 10, 15 years later. So, all right, so let's get back to Scott Del Fuego. I just see the screen is over there, Scott. Is the Bellevue a nice, quiet hotel, even though there is a bar there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The bar does not have Scott, the people that are in the bar at the Bellevue, that's the most expensive hotel in Bohol, I'm sure. It starts at 6,800, about $140 a night, and the bar only has about the bar itself is, let's say it's rectangle, might have 20 chairs around the bar. You'd never hear a word above a whisper at the bar. And then there's like 20 chairs that overlook the ocean. That's the immediate bar area. There's a lot more overlooking the ocean. And you're up about 17, 18 feet when you're sitting in the chair. But there is no loud music at the Bellevue. There is no loud music anywhere near the Bellevue. If there is any noise, it would come from people laughing in the pool. That might be the only. I would think that would be the only sound you would hear at the Bellevue. Have you ever heard loud music
from the bar? Yeah, when they're playing the music.
Yeah, but at a party.
Nothing.
Yeah, if they have a wedding ceremony that they do, and then they set off fireworks. They have a great fireworks display. But you would only hear the music if it was a specific party, and then at 9 o'clock, that music stops. But on a normal night, you go to the Bellevue, it's quiet as a church mouse. And they try to always plan their parties for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So that's the noisiest time anyway. Now the Bellevue is all class. There's nothing not classy about the Bellevue. They have the best view of the oceans. They have the whitest and cleanest beaches. They have the best lounge chairs. They have the best service. There is nothing, and they have a private security where if someone walks on the beach, when Daisy and I walk along the beach, they know me now, but when Daisy and I walk along the beach, you're not allowed to walk up near the pool area. You cannot even pay to go into the pool at the Bellevue, whereas most of the other hotels in the Philippines, you pay 100 to 300 or 400 pesos and you can use the pool. Not allowed to do that. Only the guests are allowed at the pool, and you can't rent the lounge chair on the beach unless you're a patron, a guest at the hotel. So you will not see any locals except for them walking across the beach. No loud music from musical boxes or karaoke machines on the Bellevue property, like on the beach. They could go next door. There's a park, but nothing at the Bellevue. Yeah, it's a really nice place. I sent you the links. If that's in your price range, you'll never find a nicer hotel. Well, of course you can find a nicer hotel, and I stayed at one called the Atlantis in the Bahamas. But that was that was the cheapest room there. Was where and on the floor was $400 a night, but it was on sale for $200 a night because of the September 11th attacks. And then I canceled, and they gave it to me for $100 a night. That was a trip. So, and there weren't 100 people in the entire 1,800 room complex at the Atlantis Hotel. I had the whole place to myself. It was wonderful. But that's the only hotel I've ever been, and it's nicer than the Bellevue. Oh yeah, it'd be a great place to chat. Until the Zola Inn is built. That would be a pretty cool name, but that's not the name. Maybe when I see you, I will tell you the name. Oh, yeah, the Atlanta. I stayed in. Okay, you got a picture. I booked before September 11th. I booked on September 1st of 2001. This is a story this is a crazy ass story. But it was tentative booking. I paid the deposit for the hotel, and it was non-refundable. But after September 11th, it was refundable. So 10 days was going to cost me $4,200, I think, or 4,000. It was over $4,000, but it was taking my mother to the hotel. Anyway, so we get there for the room I wanted. Okay, so now that room was above the tidal pool, facing the ocean on, I think it was 70742. It was in the middle of the building on the 7th floor. So it was not so high up you couldn't see the people and the attractions and the other pools. And it was not so low down that you couldn't see the ocean. A wonderful place. So it was $4,000, but there was a discount. It would have came down to, it was 50% off. So it would have come down to $2,000. So now September 11th comes and I call up and we're allowed to cancel. I cancel it. The travel agent calls me back and says, we'll give it to you for $1,000 for 10 days, $100 a day. No food though. Food was an additional $18 a day. And they have the best food in the damn world. I've eaten everywhere in New York. I've lived in Bahamas. The food there is just, I don't know, amazing. So my 10-day stay on the 7th floor, 0742, seem to remember that number. It was on the 7th floor in the middle, right above the shark and the stingray pool. That's where it was. It cost $1,000. So now I'm taking my mother. I don't tell her where we're going. I tell her to pack a suitcase. She's at my house visiting me. Pack a suitcase. We're going on a little vacation. Pack for a week. So she goes, where are we going? I said, I'll let you know. So we go to the airport. I didn't tell her where we were going. We get to the airport. She didn't even know we were going to the airport. She thought we were going to local. We get to the airport. Now I'm standing at the counter, and it's September 25th because it's my birthday. And the agent says, where is your destination? Where are you coming from? So I call the agent, come over to the side of the counter. I said, I don't want to tell my mother where we're going. Well, you had to see the security come. What a bunch of nonsense, all the extra security. Never been, anyway, we won't get involved with the politics of September 11th right now. So the security comes over and takes me to the side because I took the agent to the side. I wanted to tell her a secret. I wanted to tell her this is a secret. My mother didn't know where we're going. I don't even want you to mention the word Atlantis Hotel because she knows that. So security comes over and talks to me. I tell them, look, it's my birthday. Here's my passport. Here's my birthday. I don't want to tell my mother where I'm going. The security actually walked over to the counter and said, okay, just check him in and let him go because they appreciated what I was doing. So now we get on the plane and I asked the hostess not to tell the people what island we were headed for. And if she had to, which she did, she said, but just don't mention the Atlantis Hotel. Mention a great hotel. There's a great hotel. So she did that. So we get out of the hotel, and now we're going through a poor part of the Atlantis Hotel is on a very poor island, and we are going through some of the slummiest areas in the Bahamas. I tell the driver before we get in the car, I want you to pull up to the dumpiest, shittiest hotel on the island and tell my mother we're here. What she did, freaked her out. She's going, take me home. Take me home. I'm not going in that place. Actually, it was a normal hotel, but it was a dump. So then I said, okay, take us to our final destination, which was pretty cool. And so anyway, we had 10 days in Atlantis. Okay. Michael Lindorf, got to run. Midnight meeting. Best to you and your Daisy Mae. Thanks again for the song. Bye. Okay, Michael. Have a nice day. Oh, 12:01, midnight. Okay, sorry I didn't see that. Okay, then, gentlemen and ladies, I hope you enjoyed our little chat and my singing debut. I'm a good singer, right? Give the video a thumbs up if you thought I was a good singer. Scott, I'm going to say goodbye because we're gonna remove this shelf. Daisy, let's show Scott the TV screen we're working with. You have the mirror. Let me get water too. I have readjusted. I built the shelf for the Dell screen. The Dell screen took a crap. I built another shelf over there for this screen. And then this screen, the new screen doesn't, the bigger one that I want to get, because I'm making videos for the guy, so we got a deal worked out. The videos I make for the guy are going to pretty much, where is that screen? Over there, yeah. It's pretty big. Where is it? Can't see it. Wes, good afternoon. Good evening. More? It's not a very good. You need to get a bigger mirror. It's not. It's got. It's the mirror is dirty anyway. Yeah, Wes, you do that. I am. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good afternoon. So you were in the Philippines. Yeah, you know the Philippines want me to sing at the next Philippines Got Talent show. I'm a good singer. So do you have any questions, Wes? Because we're about ready to wrap it up. I need to relocate that screen. Right now it's in the middle of my bed. And the shelf I built, I'm taking it down. And then if the big screen fits there, I'll just back up because I'm tired of moving this stuff around. You missed the beginning of the live stream, but they brought a 49. What size is this? 40. I have a 40 inch. 40. I have a 43-inch screen here for the electronics part of the title. Works fine, but it's not the one I want. So I worked out a deal for the guy I'm making videos for to give me a really good price, which he did. And then he brings the 49-inch. We're going to replace it yesterday. It doesn't work. Two of the HDMI slots didn't work at all. One worked sometimes, and one worked sometimes with picture, and the other one worked sometimes with sound, but not both. Welcome to the Philippines. Okay, wait a second. Scott, see you later, my winner. Nice big screen. We can plan on what your... that would be... I saw you got me a shirt from work. And in the first video, you said work. I only had 2X. I'll go on diet. Promise. That I could do. As soon as I get back, my foot gets back into my boot, then I'll be able to walk around. There's no way I can put my foot in the boot. Okay, Scott, I'll talk to you through Patreon. I'll get this screen moved. I'll sign up for my GoPro 1-month plan. That's what you have to do. You have to give them a credit card number and you sign up for a monthly plan. Then I can send the GoPro to GoPro, and then they'll send the GoPro only to somebody in America. Thank you. All right, Scott, God day to you and everybody else. And thanks for watching, Daisy. Want to say goodnight to anybody?
Good night, everyone. Have a good night and have a sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Sweet dreams, everybody. From Michael Fazio and
Daisy Mae.
In the Philippines, baby. That's right. Thumbs up for my singing. That's right. Don't Daisy's bad singing doesn't count. Lots of love from the Philippines. It's got to end now, and it is. See you later, Scott. I hope to see you here. Okay. Oy vey and shalom from Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye.